Welcome back. We're on the SportsMax Zone. It's a done deal. Jamaican international Leon Bailey completed a £30 million move from German-based team Bayer Leverkusen to English Premier League side Aston Villa. The 23-year-old Bailey, who scored 15 goals for Leverkusen last season in all competitions, will look to add the well-needed pace and skill for the Dean Smith-coached Villa. Aston Villa finished 11th last season compared to Leverkusen's 6th place finish in the Bundesliga. Villa has also been linked with Southampton's James Ward-Prowse and Norwich City's Todd Cantwell as they strengthen their squad ahead of the upcoming EPL season. Joining us now to discuss Bailey's move for Germany's Bayer Leverkusen to England's Aston Villa is former TNT international Brent Sancho. Welcome. Oh no, Brent, we're not hearing you.
Hello guys, do you hear me?
That's better, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Hello to you, Brian, of course, Chris, and the rest of your viewers and listeners all over.
Thank you. So Brent, coming off his best statistical season, Leon Bailey to Aston Villa, assess that move for us.
It's been a big day in sports for Jamaica. Of course, in the Olympics, and now with Leon Bailey finally confirming his move. Look, Mara, this was Leon Bailey's move to the Premiership was long coming. Of course, he flirted with Chelsea, and there were other clubs keeping tabs on it. Top clubs, Liverpool, Manchester United, just to name a few. So this move was eminent. It's a great move for both Aston Villa and Leon Bailey. For Villa, the price tag, 30 million, is an absolute bargain, a steal of a deal, especially for the upside of what Bailey brings. For Bailey, it gives him a terrific opportunity to play in the English Premier League with a team that's on the up, that's for sure. A team that showed a lot of promise last season. At one point, Mariah, they were even leading the EPL. A team that has produced some magnificent results, and they have a very talented squad. And may I add, an excellent and outstanding coach in Dean Smith.
Yeah, Brent, when we look at the financial aspect of this deal, do you feel as if it was a too little bit of money that Leon Bailey went for?
Well, it's indicative of the times that we're in now, particularly with the pandemic. We are, of course, seeing moves for moderate price. You just have to look at Manchester move for Rafael Varane, and that was, for me, an absolute steal of a deal.
Yeah.
You will have one or two scenarios, i.e., the Grealish and the Kane factor that is still swirling around that may, of course, break that anomaly. But all in all, I'm not surprised because, listen, a lot of clubs are financially struggling at the moment because of the pandemic. So, yeah, 13 million is certainly a steal of a deal. And I think, as I said, the timing is right for Leon Bailey and Aston Villa.
Definitely. When I think about Leon Bailey, instantly I think pace, I think speed. How does he fit into Aston Villa's attack, what they already have?
Oh, he fits right in like a glove. I mean, the way that Aston Villa plays with Traoré on one side and Trezeguet on the other side. Of course, question marks around Grealish and whether or not he would stay. I think he's going. Brendan from Norwich has just joined, a clever midfielder, creative player. And then you throw Bailey into the mix. It's a team that likes to go out wide. They got big Ollie Watkins in the middle at the number 9 position. That can put the ball and likes balls into the air. And we saw that a lot from Villa last season with balls being whipped across the box. They encourage their players to take, especially their wide players, to take players on. And look, if you were to of course, start to put together pieces of a team that would fit Leon Bailey perfectly, I would suggest it would be Aston Villa.
A two-part question for you, Brent. Consistency has not necessarily been Leon Bailey's best attribute. And as we know, the English Premier League, the most grueling of all the leagues, yes, the Bundesliga does have quite a bit of pace to it. Is there concerns for him going into the English Premier League in terms of the grueliness of it? He's been struggling with injury problems at the moment. And what about the consistency?
Yeah, we saw that, Chris, during his time at Jamaica. I know a lot of Jamaican football fans have complained about his consistency. I do myself find it a bit strange in that he has not performed consistently at that level, and even at Bayer Leverkusen where he had injuries and a stop-start. But that being said, I think coming into the Premiership, I'm very sure that Dean Smith would be aware of those challenges. And the good thing about it is that they have the type of squad that you could rotate. It would give him chance to settle properly. It would give him the opportunity, of course, to get his foot into the ground solidly. But you're right, once that happens and once that honeymoon period is over, they're going to expect some sort of consistency from him. And as you rightfully said, when you're playing those pool games in January and February and tough League Cup games, you have to be at the top of your game. And I just hope that Leon Bailey would find that consistency in a very good Aston Villa environment.
So would we say from a Leon Bailey perspective, and we hope he's listening as well, that being in the EPL now, finally, the most viewed league around the world, as I said, the richest league probably in terms of the world, is this where Leon Bailey wants to be? Is this his opportunity to, yes, he's starting at Aston Villa, but to basically plant a P in other teams, other big teams' mind, because now he can fully showcase and be fully seen?
You don't have to go too far back. Dwight York, of course, started at Aston Villa, as we all know. And Aston Villa is a massive club, as you would know, Chris. Yeah. It's a big club that has done well and is now doing very well. So I think this is such a good move for him because, as you rightfully said, it gives him the opportunity to really announce himself to world football. If he does well at Aston Villa, i.e. the way that Jack Grealish has done well at Aston Villa, I think the sky is the limit. And certainly for me, as I said, the environment, I had the opportunity to see Dean Smith in action. He was here in Trinidad and Tobago some years back and spent some time with him. And he is such a thoughtful, great manager, fully understands the game. And as I said, I just think that the marriage is almost perfect. And it's a situation almost where, he can't lose. He just has to go out there and do what we all know that he can do consistently as well.
Definitely. And Aston Villa, they finished 11th in the Premier League last season based on, the changes that they're making. And there are also news that they have some other prospects coming in. Will they actually be real contenders? Do they move up the table?
I think up the table, it has a lot to do with whether or not Jack Grealish will stay. And I don't think he will stay. You would have to suggest that the flood of players that they've brought in or still attempting to bring in would have some transitionary period. And I think that would be a challenge for them.
In terms of chemistry.
In terms of chemistry, correct. And I certainly don't think they're going to get relegated. But you have to remember the season that they put together last year. They were up there and thereabouts for most of it until the squad got hit by COVID. Of course, we all remember that famous Liverpool game when they had to play, I think, almost 11 reserves or youngsters in their team. The point being this is that I think it's a very good team that will compete in the league. You look at some of the players that they brought in and they've done very well. Traoré is one who came in and has, of course, has hit the ground running. Yeah, and I think if you can get that sort of chemistry early within, I think they'll do well. I'm not sure about upward movement. As I said, upward movement is dependent on whether or not Grealish stays, and I would suggest with the way Villa is going about their business, I think Grealish is gone.
And that's where they fell away last season. As you rightfully mentioned, they were about 4th and 5th for a lot of the early part of the season. Yeah. Was the injury to Grealish. When Jack Grealish got injured and was out of the team, they fell away, and that's why I wonder the two players that they're looking to acquire, Cantwell and Ward-Prowse, are players who play within that middle, who have that kind of engine about them, good creators, are visionaries and so on. So maybe they are backups for that hole if it does happen with Grealish going out or getting injured and so on, which is where I think they really fell away last season. They just had nobody to replace him in terms of that part of the field, that creative element.
Yeah, no, you're correct. And I think there are ample replacements as well. Both players, Ward-Prowse is probably one of the most underrated players in the English Premier League. He certainly took Southampton on his back, the Southampton captain, and I think he could come in and fit well. And again, they play a particular type of football. They are football, as we say, a footballing team, and they like to play. So I expect them to try to get balls out wide and do what they've done best. But as I said, I think if Grealish is gone, there's going to be a transitionary period, and it's how well they cope with that. But certainly, as I said, Bailey going to Villa is big news for Jamaica and big news for the Caribbean.
Definitely. And speaking of big news, we're going to move a little bit now to Harry Kane, because this has also been making headlines. Is he really coming to my team, Manchester City? What's going on with Harry Kane? Because he isn't showing up to training. I don't get the joke, Chris. He isn't showing up to training, and he seems very interested, and we seem interested in him.
There's something called a contract, and that's what he has. And so he is not going anywhere unless Man City plays Daniel Levy exactly what he wants. And it's as simple as that. Again, that's almost fantasy football stuff. And during this pandemic times, that is a tough to do. So I just feel that I don't think that's going to go down.
They have fantasy money, though.
They do have fantasy money.
But if it's one team that could do it, it's Man City.
Yeah, you have Man City, you have PSG. Those are the types of teams would do it. But I just think when you listen to Pep Guardiola at the end of the season, he did say 120, 130 million is just ridiculous money, and he don't see his club spending that kind of money. And Pep is one of the more honest managers when it comes to those sorts of situations. So I don't see, Man City going over that 100 million mark. I think they will test Spurs' resolve by throwing in a bid of roughly about 100 million pounds. But anything over that, I don't see that.
And then wages of 400,000 pounds a week as well. That's crazy.
It's a lot.
But this is it. Yeah, it's a lot of money, and I just feel that it may not happen this window. No matter how many practice sessions that Harry Kane does not turn up to, they're still not going to. Daniel Levy is not going to budge until he gets the figures that he wants. And Harry Kane is going to have to deal with that.
Is that beneficial, though, to Tottenham Hotspur? Because, I mean, yes, I understand Levy's position, but obviously Harry Kane is not happy. Obviously, he has done everything for Tottenham as far as he's concerned. He's given them his all. He's given them a full shot at the Champions League, the Premier League, and so on. It's not worked out. I think he feels at this stage of his career that it is time for him to move on and win some trophies. We know other players that have done the same. So, is it beneficial for Tottenham for him for them to hold him and not get the best out of him at the end of the day? Him not turning up to training, the morale of the team is broken, and so on. I mean, does that help anybody?
Well, I think it's most players, once they cross that white line, Chris, they would want to play. And they'd want to, of course, do their best up to their ability. We saw it with Lionel Messi last year. He was sulking, he wasn't happy, he wanted to leave. But he still produced a fine season for Barcelona. Unless your name is James Harden, most players, once they cross that white line, they want to play. They want to play for their team, and they would want to play for themselves, more importantly. So I think at some point in time, once he realizes that a move is not on the table, he's going to have to fall back into Tottenham, and he's going to have to play and put in the work that he normally puts in for Spurs.
Yeah, and it's early in the season yet. I mean, they're just training. So, that can be rectified very soon. Brent Sancho, thank you so much. We're looking forward to connect with you again.
Sure, guys. Have a good one.
All right,
Thank you. Of course, our former TNT international there, Brent Sancho.